You are listening to 1252 Sports Entertainment. Parental discretion may be advised.
Woo! It's about that time. FatMike Chicago Sports. Yeah. Woo. Finally here. Shot City Sports is right here. Updates on news, get it here. No rumors, cause we keep it real. FatMike. Sit back, relax, sugar beer one of them nights.
Hey, this is Carmen DeFalco from ESPN Chicago, and you're listening to the FatMike Sports Show.
Hey, this is Dave Richard from CBS Sports, and you're listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hi, this is Jesse Rogers from the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott Merkin, the longtime White Sox beat writer for MLB.com and proud graduate of the University of Michigan. You're listening to me on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
This is Chuck Arfine, and you are listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. It's the best.
Hey, what's up? This is Greg Braggs Jr. from Braggs in the Stands, and you're listening to my guys on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. Boom!
Hey everyone, Fred Huebner from ESPN 1000. Great to be on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. I'm Dan Zaborski, senior writer for Fangraphs, and you're listening to FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
I'm JJ Stankovich from NBCSportsChicago.com and the Undercenter podcast, and you are listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey Sparkle, you know what I listen to? It's the FatMike Chicago Sports Show with my guy, Fat Mike. If you listen anywhere else, no shock. Listen to Fat Mike. The Fat.
And we are back, everybody. Welcome back to another FatMike Chicago Sports Show. I am your host, Fat Mike, as always. And boy, oh boy, it's what? Now, today's Wednesday. It is, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is 3 nights after we witnessed what always happens to our Chicago Bears. And what does that happen? And that is the Green Bay Packers always beat the Chicago Bears. Always. Aaron Rodgers does own the Chicago Bears. We're going to get more into that tonight as well. We're also going to get into, is it fair to rate Justin Fields so far through this point of his career, his young rookie campaign? Is it fair to rate Justin Fields? We're going to touch base on that. We got news today that Ted Phillips may be stepping down. Praise the fucking Lord. Hopefully that's the case. Because if he does step down, that means we can actually get a fucking football guy in there, and we're going to be talking on that too. We got the hottest teams in the AFC and the NFC, and we're also going to be talking about some sleepers that can cause some havoc in both divisions and ruin some playoff campaigns for other teams in both conferences. Guys, really quick before we get this show on the road and get this show started, I have to give thanks to where my thanks is due. Over here at 1252, we have a plethora of great sponsors with Susie Sheehan and State Farm. We got Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. We got the Jonathan Darren team out in Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group. We got White Oak Farm. We got Berardi Law. We have the Cupcakery Bakery. Every one of these sponsors, guys, this is the reason we're able to do shows. Plain and simple. This is the reason we're able to do shows, and that's all that boils down to it. Without these guys, we're not able to do it, and I appreciate everything that these sponsors give to us to make this happen. So, on that note, let's get going. We got you guys in the chat room. This is a live show, guys. If you guys want to interact, make sure you type in the comment section. We can get everything going from there. I'll bring you guys on with us. Have a good time. Not only that, but we also have another special guest tonight, Terry Seigel, coming in with us. I'm really excited to have her on. She's a diehard Bear fan. We're going to be bringing her on about 15, 20 minutes or so and get her take on what's going on with this Bears team. So here we go. Recap of Sunday night. Bears have the lead at halftime. Guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie one iota, okay? I was asleep at 7:45 p.m. That's how interested I was in this Bears game. All right, and that's legit. I was dead asleep on my couch, reclined like a fat animal in my recliner, sleeping. My wife, my newlywed wife, wakes me up at halftime and tells me that the Bears are winning at halftime. I do one of these. I give one eye look at the score. I said, don't worry, they'll lose the game. I'm not worried about it. They're going to lose the game. Because me as a Bear fan, going back for years now, it's what it's been forever. I mean, forever. I'm 33 years old, guys. 33 years old. And the Bears have not had the upper hand in that quote-unquote rivalry since as far as I can remember. Aaron Rodgers is now 22-5? Or is it 23-5 with the playoff game? Either way, it's not a fucking rivalry. It's an ass whipping is what it is. That's not a rivalry. Okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They could be your worst enemy. That's more along the lines of what it is. They are the Bears' worst enemy because they are the Bears' kryptonite, guys. As long as Aaron Rodgers is in a Green Bay Packer uniform, he will forever be the Bears' kryptonite. Okay? There's no going any other way about that. He is the Chicago Bears' kryptonite. And when he said in week whatever it was, week I don't even remember what week it was. It was early in the season. But when he said that he owns the Chicago Bears, he meant it. And it's true. You're 22-5 against a divisional opponent, guys. That's almost as bad as Tom Brady against the Bills. Tom Brady against the Bills is like 8-3 or something like that. He owns the Buffalo Bills. It's sad. Okay, it's sad. I knew the Bears were going to lose that game. All right, Justin Fields played good. Whatever. Okay, he did his thing. All right, and we're going to touch on that too, because is it fair to rate Justin Fields so far through the season? We're going to touch on that. But as long as Aaron Rodgers is a Green Bay Packer, it's not going to get any better, guys. The Bears are still a long shot couple of years away. And I was talking with our guest Terry a little earlier to get her prepped up on the show, and we're going to bring this up with her too. But I don't know how many times you guys have heard me say that I'm done with this fucking team. I'm done. And she says, but you always go back. And she's right. She's 100% right. I do always go back. For some fucking stupid reason, I'm always going back to the Chicago Bears because I love them. I love them. They could shit right in my cereal bowl in the morning for breakfast, and I'd still love them every single day. Plain and simple. I hate to love them. I love to hate them. But it's a team that I'm dealt with. It's a team that I grew up rooting for. It's a tough pill to swallow. And one thing I want to touch on too, I heard a lot in Chicago sports radio up here. Oh my God. And I'm going to say it too. Kaplan and Jay Hood and Carmen and Yurko and Waddle and Sylvie. I love these guys from the very ounce of my heart. I love these guys. They're great people. I don't have a negative thing to say about any single one of them. But a lot of the talk was this could be Aaron Rodgers' last game in a Green Bay Packer uniform against the Bears. Could it be Aaron Rodgers' last game against the Bears in a Green Bay Packer uniform? Guys, let me tell you something. If Aaron Rodgers is smart, and which we all know that he is, he's a very smart guy. He's a very smart quarterback. You may fucking hate him, but he's a very smart guy. There is no way in hell he is leaving the Green Bay Packers. You want to know why? And I'm going to give the reason right now. The reason why is because the NFC North is a big pile of horse shit. And there's not one team in the NFC North that matters at all besides the Green Bay Packers right now as it sits. Plain and simple. He has the easiest path each and every single year to go to the playoffs, to give himself a chance at the Super Bowl through the NFC North. He is always in the playoffs, guys. Always. Why would you leave that? Even with a banged-up defense in years past for the Green Bay Packers, he's been in the playoffs. We've already established that he literally owns the Chicago Bears. 22-5, 23-5, I think now. The fucking Bears ain't beating him. They're not a barricade in his path to the playoffs. They are not an obstacle in his path to the postseason. They're not. Neither is the Minnesota Vikings come on, the Detroit Lions. They have one fucking win all year. Get real. This team, guys, this Packers team and Aaron Rodgers live, especially Aaron Rodgers. He lives to be a thorn in the Chicago Bears side. I hate the guy. I hate his fucking guts. But do I respect what he puts on the field every single Sunday? Yes, I appreciate the greatness that he is. Doesn't mean I don't hate him. I hate his guts, but would I take him on the Bears in a heartbeat? It sucks, guys. It sucks. That Bears game, and then the other night we got the Matt Nagy kicking a field goal when he should have went for it, and then him backing up in the post game in the presser, saying, you look back at those moments and you feel like you should have went. No fucking shit, you should have went for it, Matt Nagy. No shit. I didn't even watch the game. I didn't even watch the fucking game, and I know you should have went for it when you're down by that many. You have nothing to lose. You're down by 2 scores. What is the point? What are you going to lose? I am so sick of mediocrity being a Chicago Bear fan. And guys, I know I'm not the only one who is. I know I'm not the only one that's sick of mediocrity up here in Chicago. I know I'm not. I know we all want our Bears team to be at the top, doing our thing. But it's hard. It's hard to be a Bear fan sometimes. It really is. It truly is. I see all the progress in motion. I truly do. I see Justin Fields getting his feet wet out there. I see Larry Borum taking steps. Tevin Jenkins. A lot of people are blaming Tevin Jenkins because he had a couple penalties. It's his fucking first game, guys. Give the guy a break. He'll be fine. He'll be okay. Hopefully, he'll be okay. The guy just got off of back surgery. Have any of you guys dealt with a bad back and had surgery and had to block a 265-pound guy who can bench press 400 pounds, rushing you a full head of steam right at you 2 weeks after you're cleared from fucking health protocol? Fuck you. Get out of here. If that's the shit that you guys are talking about, you guys are fucking stupid. Plain and simple. There's a lot of guys out there. Listen, guys, I love the Chicago Bears, but I hate meathead Bear fans. Where each and every year it's like you could have Joey Harrington. There was a guy I talked to a few weeks ago. I go on his show. He's a hardcore Detroit Lions fan. His expectation was for the Detroit Lions to go 13-3. I looked at him like he had fucking 6 heads. Are you that fucking dense? You cannot be that dense being a Chicago Bear fan. You have to see with your own 2 eyes what's on the field. Who is coaching the team? Who is calling the plays? Where are your fucking special players? Yes, there's a lot of hope here in Chicago. I get it. Justin Fields, yeah, he has all the hype. I'm right there with you guys. He has all the hype. And there's good pieces around him. I have been a huge proponent, and my buddy Paul's going to laugh at this. All right, I've been a huge proponent that Darnell Mooney could take that next step and be the type of Tyreek Hill player that we all imagine him to kind of be. Darnell Mooney is ranked 6th in the National Football League in dropped passes this year. Major digression. Right now, I'm on the cusp right now of Darnell Mooney. You better start using fucking stickum and hauling in passes, because if not, your ass can hit the fucking bricks too, pal. And I like you. I like Darnell Mooney. Ugh. I'm telling you guys, like I said, as much as I love the Bears, I hate to love them sometimes. I truly, truly do. Before we bring in our guest, Terry Seigel, and we're going to touch on all those topics a little bit later, where we rate Justin Fields and all that other stuff, guys. Before we bring in our guest, I have to play a few sponsor spots. And like I said, without these sponsors, guys, these shows do not happen on 1252. The shows with Fred Hubner and Hube's Views and Brews and David Schuster Express and Bear Fans with a Brain and Harry the Greek and the Over Under Show, all these, the Fantasy Football Show and Jacob Charnell, all these shows do not happen without these wonderful sponsors that we have here. So if you guys are in the Chicagoland area, because that's where we're based at, hit these guys up. And we'll be back in about 2.5 minutes. Hey, Susie, thanks for hooking me up with the Fat Mike markdown on my insurance rates at State Farm. This is awesome.
No, Mike. The Fat Mike markdown is not a real thing.
I don't believe that for a second. Let me repay you the favor and tell you and all my friends about the Fat Mike markdown.
Okay, well, that's just fine, considering that State Farm just gives everyone surprisingly great rates.
You heard it here first, folks. So give Susie Sheehan over at State Farm Agency a call and ask for the Fat Mike markdown. It's the best.
For the real deal, give us a call at 815-306-0184 or go to SusieSheehan.com to request a quote. My team at the Susie Sheehan Agency is here to help with all of your insurance needs for auto, home, and life, and we service Illinois and Indiana. Also, if you mention the Fat Mike Markdown, $10 will be donated to a local charitable organization through our Quotes for Good program in your name. Remember, that's 815-306-0184 or SusieSheehan.com. Thanks so much.
Get on it, everybody.
Woohoo!
Hello, this is Paul from Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. We are located at 1026 South State Street in historic downtown Lockport, Illinois. We are very excited to be partnering up with the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show as well as the 1252 brand because we are one of the few Chicagoland breweries that embrace sports and sports culture. Come in for a fresh brewed beer made right here in Lockport while catching the game of your favorite team. Stay for the live music that we have booked every weekend. Or just come for a cozy atmosphere to enjoy a good conversation with a friend, loved one, or complete stranger. Nick and Ivy makes you feel right at home no matter what the occasion is. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. Visit our website for our up-to-date tap list or to go shopping on our online store at nickivybrewing.com. That's Nikivy brewing.com. Come in today for fresh brewed beer born and raised in Lockport, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Darren, licensed real estate broker with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group in Homer Glen. Are you looking to buy or sell? Have you been disappointed in the past? The Jonathan Darren team with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group focuses on providing you with a concierge level of service during the process of buying or selling. We are a service-oriented team with a fresh and professional approach to selling real estate. Our goal is to combine knowledge, skills, and passion to exceed our clients' expectations, and most of all, we truly care. We are a knowledgeable real estate team focused on offering expertise and innovative solutions for our clients. The Jonathan Darren team has 5 full-service real estate brokers and a dedicated full-time marketer servicing all of Chicagoland. We will customize a detailed plan around your timeline for a sale, purchase, investment, estate, or other needs. Real estate transactions can be stressful, but don't need to be. Let us handle it for you. Visit our website, homesbyjdt.com, or call 708-308-1938 today. Expect better in real estate. Choose the Jonathan Darren team.
All right, guys, and we are back. We are back. Thank you to Susie Sheehan and State Farm, and thank you to Nick and Ivy Brewing Company and the Jonathan Darren Coldwell Banker Real Estate team. Thank you guys so much. It's awesome. And yeah, make sure you guys, if you guys are in the downtown Lockport area or in the Homer Glen area, if you guys are looking for a beer and to buy a house and to grab insurance for that house, that's the way to do it in that order. I'm telling you guys, get drunk at Nick and Ivy, go buy a home, and then get that home insured by Susie Sheehan because that's where it's all at. Perfect fit. All right, guys. Now I'm going to welcome on our guest here, and I'm really excited to have her on because not only just like last week. All right, you guys all know I'm a huge sports fan, huge Chicago Bear fan, huge Chicago sports guy. But I'm also a really big music buff as well. I really love my music. And Terry has some really cool stories about the music scene. She's down there in St. Louis. She's well known down there in the St. Louis area, being her typical rocker self and kicking ass. But not only that, but she's a diehard Chicago Bear fan, which I'm really excited to bring her on with us tonight. And here she is, Terry. Terry, how are you, sweetie?
Hey, Fat Mike, your biggest fan. You know, I just want you to know that I can't see you because I screwed up. I have this wonderful production team, and I said, no, I don't want to see me and Mike because it'll make me nervous. And now I can't see you.
Well, you look gorgeous as always, Terry. Thank you
so
much for joining us. You look gorgeous. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate it. That's awesome.
Well, I'm so excited. I'm like, I don't even really remember how I found you, but I did. And I became your biggest fan. And of course I would then comment, me and my comments. And I'm like, and I know this guy's going, who the fuck is this chick from St. Louis? That thinks she knows so much, and I'm my son who played football all through high school and college and everything says the same thing to me. It's like, Mom, unless you played football, you have no right to say anything. I'm like, well, yeah, I do. I'm a fan, so I have a right to say whatever I want. But I'm so excited to be here with you. And I got can I do like a few quick shout outs and then I don't have to think about it?
Yeah, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay. First of all, by the way, you're 33.
Yeah, I'm a baby.
Just so you know, I'm 66. Okay. I know. So I got hit by the same lightning bolt as Tom Brady. So I don't know what the fuck happened, but
You're
anyway,
still killing it though.
I'm telling you, well, that's what they tell me. Okay, first I want to shout out to my son, Harrison. I love you. You're unbelievable, Harrison Seigel. All my St. Louis friends that put up with all the Bears crap every fucking game. It's like it goes from music to Sunday. Bears, fuck them, blah, blah, blah. So thank you to my friends in Indianapolis, to my friends, to Kenny Brash and everybody at Bourbon Street and at 115 there in Chicago. And also my good friend Carrie McBride, who produces the biggest red dirt country festival in the country up in Oklahoma called the Calf Fry. And he's unbelievable. So that's really all the friends I have in the world plus you. So there I go. So I wanted to do those shout outs, but thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
It's awesome having you. You and I have been bullshitting back and forth over the last couple of months about the Chicago Bears here and what we see or lack thereof on the field. Terry, I know you're a diehard Chicago Bear fan. Everybody else can see you here. And you got an amazing assortment of shit in the background. Your Urlacher jersey, your Ohio State.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you a little bit.
The finger. You got a full-size Bears helmet back there. You are a diehard, Terry. So first and foremost, how did you become a Bear fan, Terry?
I know. It's a very weird story. How does a blonde Jewish broad in St. Louis become a huge Chicago Bears fan? It really started. I had a huge career in radio starting in the early 70s, and television on the I always had weird shifts. And television, you had 3 channels, and every Sunday and every weekend it was all football. And so it's like I thought, okay, I would be all by myself in some piece of shit town in Canada or Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So I go, okay. About 1979, I said, okay, I can't beat them, so I'm going to join them. I'm going to pick 2 teams. And it just so happened that night I was watching the Bears. It was that weekend I was watching the Bears, and I saw this little guy carrying this entire team on his back. And that little guy was Walter Payton. And I became a Bears and a Buckeyes fan. I picked 2 teams, Bears and Buckeyes. And since 1979, I have been following these cats since 1979. Good, bad, but even before the 85 Bears, to me, everybody goes 85 Bears, get off the 85 Bears. Well, you know what? The fucking 85 Bears changed the whole landscape of football. It made it entertainment. It made it these characters in this team, the refrigerator, the guy with the sunglasses, this Walter Payton, they all became bigger than life. And, the Super Bowl shuffle. And all of a sudden, people all over the world and women, I'll talk to families, all started getting into football. And I really believe, not that I'll still say Terry Bradshaw was one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Shoot me now. But that's really kind of how I started into football, and I learned a lot. I was a cheerleader, by the way, in high school. But when you're a cheerleader, the last thing you're doing is watching the football game. I was the worst cheerleader in the history of high school. The worst. I was at a basketball game screaming, 1st and 10, do it again at a basketball game, and everybody's going, what the fuck is she?
Go team! My team scored points.
Yeah, I'm like, 1st and 10, do it again at a basketball game. So I was cheerleading never put me in the sport, but my family is actually a hockey family. My brother was probably considered one of the greatest hockey players in the state, and my dad was the attorney for the Blues, and my brother now runs the Las Vegas Knights, Golden Knights. So I come from a hockey team. So I just grew up going to Canada every summer to hockey camps. And I'm like, you know what? I got so burnt out. Not that I don't love my St. Louis Blues, but I got just so burnt out on hockey that I just I just anyway. And then of course my career went into music. I've been in radio. I had my own signed band. I was a vice president of the third largest concert promoter in the world, which is now Live Nation. I was managing producer of Opryland Productions in Nashville. And then in 1995, opened up my own company where I buy talent for a lot of major concert venues. So, and got wiped out in COVID like everybody else in the concert business, but gradually building back. So that's kind of a little me. That's me.
Right. So with the Bears now, Terry, like you and I are watching the same team trotted each and every single week on the field. How do you feel about Justin Fields thus far throughout his short little tenure here in Chicago?
I can answer that. That's an easy question, because so I don't know what to call you. Mike? Can I call you Mike? I hope I can call you Mike.
Yeah.
I don't want to call you. I don't want to call you. I just want to call you Fat Mike. I mean, do I call you Fat or do I call you Mike? But I'm going to call you Mike. But
Fat Mike is fine. Mike is fine. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so where we are right now with the Chicago Bears, it's so hard because I could talk to you all night about it, but it really comes down to management, coaching, Justin Fields. I'm as a Buckeye fan, I watched every fucking snap that kid took. Every snap. You have anybody that's on a Bear, and I'm on 3 or 4 different Bears groups, and I watch you, and I don't know if anybody complaining had actually watched Justin Fields play college football, but nobody was better than Justin Fields, or is. He is insane good. I mean, you have no clue. When I was watching the draft, I mean, like, who sits there? I ordered what is it? DoorDash? Dash Door? What is that football thing? I ordered that to watch DoorDash. Yeah, fuck. I ordered DoorDash to watch the football draft. What kind of chick am I? I mean, I'm like, I really, and not only that, we were like, what, 20 or 22 or something to that effect, in the selection.
Right. We had picked number 22.
Yeah. So I'm like all of a sudden watching, waiting
or 20. We had picked number 20. I'm sorry, 20. We had picked number 20.
Yeah, 20. And my son was on the phone with me, and we're talking, and he goes, "Fuck, well, I'm not going to turn it on till we're not till 20, so I don't have to start watching it now." He has moved out of the home. You need to move home, son. But anyway, so I wasn't expecting that. I just kind of watching these kids because I watched them play. You watch and give them respect and this and that. But all of a sudden, my son and I got off the phone, and up on the screen, how they're doing the ticker tape, across the screen during the draft, it goes, "The Bears have just moved up to," was it position number 9?
Position 11.
Was it 11? Was it 11?
Yes.
And I'm like, little hand to God, I got on my knees and started crying. I cried because I knew who was left. Justin Fields and Mac. And I'm like, oh God. And my son, and I called my son. I was crying like a baby. You have no clue, Mike. I mean, like a baby. I was on the ground crying. And I'm going, God, this just can't be that the Bears finally did something right. I can't believe this is happening. It's like a movie. And then when they picked Justin Fields, it was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
See, Terry, that's crazy because, I was on the other end of the spectrum. I was a little worried about them moving up again they did the same exact thing when they drafted Mitch, which fucking drove me insane. All right.
That was horrible. That was horrible.
He's to not be named on this show because if we talk about him, it's going to ruin the show. But they did the same exact thing for him. And I was worried. I've been saying since 2017, since they drafted he who not be named, I have been a full advocate. I have been a big proponent and a big advocate that they needed offensive line because their offensive line has sucked for years. All right. And there was a lot of really good offensive linemen available at 11 if you were moving up. And if you didn't move up, you could have had some really good offensive line at 20. All right.
But we needed a quarterback, Mike.
I understand that. I understand that. But how do you move the football in football? How do you score points in football? You have to have the guys in front of you. You have to have the hogs.
I
You could
know,
be
but you
anybody
can't.
back there. You could be anybody back there, Terry. You could be anybody. They need offensive line. Now, that being said, all that being divulged, and me being upset and like verbally upset in the middle of a bar. All right, like I was fuming.
You and I should not have been in the same room.
I
Oh my
was
God.
fuming. I was fuming.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I was
Second
crying
round
while you
comes
were
around
fuming.
and they drafted Tevin Jenkins. Immediately, all that weight was lifted off my shoulder. All that worry about moving up and drafting a quarterback and finally getting him some protection. All that worriment, all that stress, all that bullshit was immediately lifted off my shoulders because Tevin Jenkins should have been a first-round pick.
Well, yes, I agree with you. But when they signed the Ginger, who I hate more than life itself, like, first of all, as a single woman, you won't catch me ever dating a guy with red hair, and
They're the devil.
or and he has mean eyebrows. I mean, so there is. He does.
That's his biggest fault. Not that he can't hit an open receiver 15 yards away. He has very mean eyebrows, guys.
He's got mean eyebrows, and Jerry Jones probably like put poison in his beverage just so they wouldn't have to pay him or figure out. He was begging somebody to take this guy. I mean, so when they signed, the Ginger, I'm like, are you wait? Trubinsky the Ginger. And I'm like, I mean, when they signed, so everybody that I watch, because I'm on about 6 Bears sites, and of course I always start with you. When they signed Justin Fields, I'm like, everything that I read that people post, because I read a lot of it, and they go, watch the kid. He's just a kid. He's just a rookie. He's just this. He's just that. You got to give him time. He's not being coached. I go, well, a lot of that is true, but if you watched him play, if you're really diehard Bears fans, and I know you guys, I'm there with you. Okay. Hello. My whole house looks like fucking this. Okay. It goes this way, Bears fan this way. It's like this to my steps going down this thing. But you know what? It's like if you watched him play college ball,
Right.
Go back and watch some games. Mike, I don't know if you ever watched Justin play.
I followed him at Ohio State. I follow the big
Did
teams.
You?
Yeah, I follow the big teams.
So it's kind of like
the thing, though, Terry. Like I was talking, and again, this is really quick before we get into this, Terry. I want to go through a couple of the comments here. We got our guy Troy Polamalu, #King Troy, #Trojan Legend, #SC. He's asking me, why am I wearing retro Eagles colors? Troy Polamalu, dude. It's Callahan Auto Parts, and it's my work hat. Leave me alone. Get out of here. We got Michael Carey here. He's like, let's talk about Terry's phone number. I think he's got the hots for you, though, Terry. All right, we got our guy.
Well, send pictures.
Yeah.
No.
Just no dick pics. Keep it classy.
No
dickhead.
dick pics. Oh yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
No.
here we go. We got Ron.
I'm sponsored by Tinder. Go ahead.
We got our guy Ron Rupp now. The Bears dominated everything in '85. Everyone was talking about them. Ron, Terry, you're not joking. Again, from our guy Troy Polamalu, he says, "Roll Tide, Roll Tide." Followed up immediately after that.
Nick Saban and the fucking Alabama fucking Roll Tide. Fuck them.
And then immediately after that, he says, "Trade Fields and sign Russell Wilson. No dice. I'm okay." On that.
Oh yeah. They're doing fine in Seattle. They're just doing great. Yeah. That gum chewing piece of shit that sold his guys out down in California over at UCLA, and he sold his boys out and headed USC and sold his boys out and left them to fucking to rot there while he went up to Seattle. Screw that guy. I can't stand him. He's my I almost hate him more than I hate Aaron Rodgers. Pete Carroll, I hate him more than I hate Aaron Rodgers, I think.
We got our guy Matthew Mormon saying that Terry knows her shit. And we got Troy Polamalu again. He says Bears need to sign a kicker on the next draft. Troy, get the fuck out of here, man.
Get the fuck out. Get alive.
He's just being a troll. And then we got our guy Harry Berg. What's up? Great guest, Harry Berg, our guy on 1252 here. He has the over-under show where if you guys want to win money, Terry, I'm telling you, you want to win some money this coming up week in NFL?
Yes, I do.
Listen to Harry's show because he is riding another fucking heater. He has been hot as ever.
Guess what?
on his show.
You know what, Mike? Between me and you and the bedpost and everybody that's watching, I actually a sidebar. I could talk to you for 3 hours, but sidebar, I actually never watched the Kentucky Derby, and I happened to bet about 4 years ago on the last horse in the race called Vegas. Bet just because I was bored.
Mm-hmm.
I bought myself a Corvette.
What?
I'll have another one. The freaking Kentucky Derby, the last horse in the that they listed that would come in last. I bet on just for kicks, shits, and grins.
How about that,
won.
Harry? She's got a Corvette off of a pony. How about that?
I
Harry?
won cash. I paid cash for a Corvette that I always
Man, there
wanted.
you go. There you go. That's what's up.
Yeah,
that
it should have
is
been a
what's
Mustang,
up.
but
anyway, going back to it, Terry. Going back to
Go
it here. We were just talking a little bit about what you said, how you hate Aaron Rodgers. Okay,
yeah.
Let's go back to what happened on this last Monday night. We know what happened. The Bears had the lead at the halftime. They completely shit the bed in the second half. Matt Nagy not knowing how to coach a fucking football team, but not only that, but Aaron Rodgers. You said you hate his guts. You don't like him. You can't stand him. Anything he stands for.
Yes.
He does own the Chicago Bears, though, don't you know?
No. Let me just say this. First of all, you're so cute. I love Fat Mike. You guys, Fat Mike is the greatest. Okay, I really. I used to bug him and go, "Why don't you put some estrogen on your show?" Remember that? I said, "Put some estrogen on your show," meaning me. But here's the thing about Aaron Rodgers, and this was before. First of all, if you're a Green Bay fan, I would hate this guy's guts. He held up that team. He humiliated his team all summer long by saying, "I fucking hate you. I want the hell out of Green Bay. I want to get out of here. I hate you." And I'm thinking, who wants to still be a Green Bay fan? This guy's saying he hates your guts. He wants to leave. If somebody had come up with some money or something, that guy, and he didn't go to practice. He held that whole team, all his buddies, all these guys went to practice, but he stood back and didn't go, and then he flat out, I'm not getting into politics. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying he lied. He lied to his teammates about his health situation. He lied to them. So I don't care. Mass shot. You don't want to get a shot? Whatever. You know what? But you need to tell your teammates what you're doing. And he lied to them. So, and then when he said, "I own you," that was about the most classless thing. Yeah, it does. So what? But you think any guy, any man would ever be so classless as to say that to anybody, to fans? Like, who the hell are you? Take a bath, by the way. You know what? I mean, seriously, he looks like horrible, like he needs to take a bath. But 3 this year, him and Nagy need to go both take a bath.
Shit.
Get some manscaping going or something to that effect. But you know what? Before this year, I would hate to say it, but I would say if I had 30 seconds left on the clock to go down a field, to get into field goal range, to score, hands down, I'd always go with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Hands down.
So, I mean,
am I right?
No, you're not wrong. I mean, he's one of 2 guys that I would take out there. If I need a win, he's one of the guys that I'm taking. And that was my next question. To you. How would you feel if the Bears in the offseason here, before they drafted Fields, when all that stuff was going on, if they made a real big push for Aaron Rodgers? Would that have pissed you off, or would you have been happy with him as a Bears quarterback?
That's a really good question.
Would you? Think about it. Really think about it before you go off the handle and go off the hammer.
No. It's about winning.
I know. For me,
how do you feel?
As much as I hate the fucking guy, I also hate to love the guy. I appreciate the greatness that he has. I appreciate what he does for the game and how good he is. All right.
Well,
but like
I never thought I would actually like.
Go ahead.
I never thought I'd like Tom Brady. I mean,
right.
But things change. All of a sudden, he put his his business behind his mouth, and he went into a nothing team and took Gronk with him and created this monster in Tampa Bay.
Let's slow down here a little bit. Tampa Bay was pretty loaded before Tom got there, before Tom and Gronk got there.
They were not going
still
anywhere.
Had Mike Evans, they still had Chris Godwin, they still had a bunch of big pieces on that defense.
He
wanted to
build
Terry,
a team.
Do not forget that Jameis Winston with one eye threw for 30 touchdowns and 5,000 yards down there the season prior. All right. He had some weapons down there.
I'm not saying they were like, they weren't pond scum. Okay. I'm not saying
they didn't suck. They didn't suck. But I mean, he went to a pretty good system where.
Yeah. Well, he went into an organization that he knew would give him the options and the best rights to do what he wanted to do. He wanted to rebuild a team his way. Well, him and Belichick hated each other. I mean, that could be a movie in itself. And the fact that New England's doing well is like another. I can't say
it's that system. Real quick, back to the comments here. Michael Corey, who I called Michael Carey earlier, I apologize. He says it's Corey, not Carey. Sorry, Michael Corey.
Michael Corey.
Holy shit. Our guy Harry Berg, he's like, be nice to Troy. He's our village troll. He's my troll. Troy. Here we go. We got a Facebook user. I don't know who he is. He says, hey, Seigel, what's going on, girl? We got another guy, Harry Berg, saying, but he was immunized. Wah, with a medieval laugh.
Yeah, you're like, with what? With like
he's got COVID toe. Leave him alone.
Diet
we
Mountain.
Also got our guys over at Media Outlaws saying it's a lot easier to like Tom Brady when he's not a Patriot. And our guy Troy Polamalu again says Brady chose to go to the easiest division in the league. Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's true.
Yeah, it could be.
It's true. Be. I mean, he's not stupid. He picked that team for a reason. He thought he could have gone anywhere.
I think he picked that team for a reason too. New England this time of the year is frigid cold, lots of snow. It sucks out there. And then you're going to Tampa Bay where it's
his wife wanted to be like, his wife was so sick of the cold. She wanted to wear little party dresses.
Right. Come on, Terry. I'm not trying to be gross or trying to steer you off, but I mean, half the guys that listen to this podcast wish they were Tom Brady's middle finger, for crying out loud. So let's not kid yourself. Okay? I mean, let's not kid yourself. I mean, let's be real here. Okay.
He's like, I don't know if people hate him because he's great or because he's got all the checks. I mean, and I decided I always hated him, by the way. I was a hater, but I said, I will decide if I don't hate him, depending on what he does in Tampa Bay. I was wondering if Belichick had created a Frankenstein, a monster, you know what I mean? Or was it Belichick or was it Brady? And when he left and Brady did so well in Tampa Bay, I'm like, I'll give it. He's the greatest of all time. I'll hand it to you.
To stop you on your point right there, I was just talking about this morning, and this is the thing that I forgot before we moved on. With Justin Fields at Ohio State and Mac Jones at Alabama and Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, and you got all these guys, all these hot quarterbacks that came into this year's draft. All right, what are you drinking? A beer there, Terry?
It's okay. I'm such a chick. It's a strawberry limeade margarita.
Oh, there you go. Okay, there you go.
In a beer's glass.
But here we go. All right. All those teams, and this is something that I was talking to. Now, my brother Trevor, all right, this kid is unbelievable with sports. He's mainly baseball. This kid, I mean, at 4 years old, this kid was memorizing the baseball encyclopedia, for crying out loud. And that's not an exaggeration at all. He can give you stats like Rain Man out of the baseball encyclopedia. He knows it like the back
I love
of his
people
hand.
like that. I love people like that.
But him and I were talking this morning with those big conferences, those big colleges like Alabama and USC, and not so much USC anymore, but Ohio State and Clemson and the Power Five that have been in power for a long time here. These guys haven't been able to, or weren't asked to, diagnose a defense because they've had the best of the best in front of them all the time throughout their years of college. Justin Fields, all-pro offensive line, 3 of the fastest 10 people in the United States as his wide receivers.
Absolutely.
Trevor Lawrence, great offensive line. Again, 3 of the fastest wide receivers in the top 10 in all of the country. Mac Jones, everybody wants to play for Nick Saban because Nick Saban wins championships. Plain and simple. He wins college football championships. So he gets the cream of the crop anywhere he goes. Plain and simple. So, I mean, when they move up, going back to the Mac Jones thing, I want to touch on that too, because this is really interesting for me. I really like this. Now where the Chicago Bears are asking Justin Fields to determine what the defense is in, whether it be a dime or a nickel, or they're playing man, or they're playing zone, or so on and so forth. Okay. Mac Jones just has to go up there with the best of the best that New England has to offer, because everybody wants to play for Bill Belichick. Last year, the Patriots sucked because they had a lot of guys on COVID protocol, and Harry Berg was one of these guys that was standing by me this year. Our guy, Harry Berg, on 1252 here on the Over Under podcast. They had a lot of guys sit out because of COVID and a lot of guys due to injury on their defense and offense. Their offensive line is back and healthy. Their defense is back and healthy, whether it be off COVID protocol or not playing because of COVID. He has the best of the best. All Mac Jones has to do out there is be a game manager for 3 years. And by the time that those defenses and that offensive line gets old, he'll be in the same exact fucking spot that Tom Brady is now. I think Bill Belichick is a systematic quarterback. You forget that he won, 11 games, or was it 10 games with Matt Castle, for crying out loud, in 2000 whatever it was, when Tom Brady broke his fucking leg like a toothpick. Right. All right. This guy knows how to run a system. Bill Belichick is the best coach I've ever seen in any sport ever. Plain and simple.
I hate him.
This guy the other day, Terry, did you watch that game against Buffalo the other day? He ran the ball. He threw the ball 3 fucking times. He threw the ball 3 times, and they win the game. No.
And I thought, you know what? I was really glad they picked Justin over Mac, because I thought Mac would end up being like the kid from the Colts, the Stanford guy. What's his name?
Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck. I thought that with getting
Andrew
Mac,
Luck was
he'd end up
fantastic, though. You can't shit on Andrew Luck.
Yeah, towards the end, though, not so much.
He also didn't have an offensive line protecting him either.
Towards the end,
he was the most sacked quarterback in the league for 3 years in a row.
He was going down way too. And by the way, my second team of the Colts. So I'm not bashing on the Colts, but Mac Jones, I thought, you know what, he's a system player. He's an Alabama guy, which I hated. I just thought that Justin just really fit better with the Bears, and I get so upset, Mike, when I see
you sit there, you look at Matt Nagy coming from Kansas City, thinking, okay, they drafted Patrick Mahomes. Matt Nagy was hot on Patrick Mahomes. He was really hot on Patrick Mahomes. He was the one that said that this guy's the turning point. He's the turning key. He can change your franchise type of guy. Mm-hmm. And now we get that olive branch from Kansas City implemented here in Chicago, and you think the same. You look at Justin Fields, okay, maybe this is what he needs. Maybe Justin Fields is the type of player that he needs. And it just goes to show again, in year 4 of the 4-year contract with Matt Nagy, 3 of the 4 being very underwhelming, okay, that now we're here and he still doesn't know how to coach or call a fucking play. And Justin Fields doesn't fit his need at all. You forget that Matt Nagy opted to have Andy Dalton as his starter week 1. All right, this is the shit that we're talking about here in Chicago. It's the same rudimentary bullshit over and over and over again. Albert Einstein said it best, Terry.
Go ahead.
Albert Einstein said it best. It's the same thing, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not changing. Here in Chicago, it hasn't changed in years.
And my heart goes out to everybody in Chicago. I mean, for me, as an outsider, I don't know if people hate me because I talk about the Bears, because I'm not. I mean, my son actually.
There's Bear fans all over the United States. Nobody hates you for being a Bear fan.
But Urlacher's jersey was the biggest selling jersey in the history of jerseys. I mean, all over the country. I mean, that's how much. I could talk about Urlacher all day, but it's this whole. First of all, and I'll just say it. This season is a wash. This is, without a doubt, the worst fucking, and I've been we're watching diehard fans since 1979. Okay, since Walter Payton carried the Chicago Bears on his back. That's how. You know how many years that is? I've been watching these guys.
It's at least 1979. That's over 40 years.
Yes, that's how long I've been watching these guys, and I will tell you, hand to God, this is the worst season I've ever seen in football. Of the NFL across the field. I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know what it is, but look at the meltdown with everybody. Trevor Lawrence and what the hell happened to Urban Meyer? You think what's happening to the Bears is just indigenous to the Bears? It's happening everywhere.
Right, but then
Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, everybody is falling apart. And right now, did you know that Bourne just got put on the COVID list today?
Yep, I heard.
Yeah, just like right before we came on, I just heard that Bourne got put on. We have here, Chicago Bears. Hello, Lake Forest College in Chicago. Could we get your defensive line to come over and you know what I'm thinking of? The replace. Remember, I think we need Keanu Reeves. I'm thinking about the replacements. That's who we need to get because we got nobody. We got nobody to play.
Line, please. We have nobody to play.
Well, call Alabama. Can you loan us somebody? But that's happening to the Lions. Almost didn't get to play last week. I mean, nobody has anybody, and so it's happening. Look, you know what? And if you watch did you watch the Arizona game?
I did watch a little bit of it. I watched the Rams beat up on them.
Okay. All you had to do was watch Kyle Murray and tell me that Justin Fields is a piece of shit. Kyle Murray is one freak of a quarterback. Arizona Cardinals probably could have. I still might be Super Bowl material. I don't know.
They're a hot team right now.
They're
playing good.
But they were
Hopkins though out for the year with a knee sprain.
But they were fumbling. He was throwing interceptions. He was fumbling at first and goal. Kyle Murray would look horrible. So it's not just the Bears. Am I wrong, Mike? It's everybody. Everybody looks like shit now. I haven't seen a good game.
This year in the NFL has been a tough year. There's been a lot of tough teams. There's been a lot of tough losses and tough beats. Who would have thought that Jacksonville would have beat Buffalo, for crying out loud? Buffalo was supposed to be on a tear this year. And again, I know I keep on bringing him up, but I got our guy, Harry the Greek. He kept on saying, guys, just hold your horses on this Buffalo Bills team. They're not as good as advertised. Hold your buck. And it's showing proof.
And it showed
proof. There's a lot of teams out there like that right now. There's a lot of teams out there right now.
And there's a couple who we're gonna be playing.
We got two against the Vikings. We got two against the Vikings. We got one more against.
All of a sudden, Kirk Cousins has become relevant again.
He's still not relevant. He still doesn't fucking win in primetime. He blows.
He's gonna. You know what? You watch. I mean, all of a sudden, and I'm not a fan, but he got good all of a sudden the last.
They're still in the hunt. They're still in the hunt right now.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know how they're still in the hunt.
Who's
but
their coach?
they're 6-7.
Who's their coach? I can't remember his name.
Mike Zimmer.
Now, here's I'll tell you what, because I swear I could talk football. By the way, somebody needs to just ram Chris Collinsworth's mouth into.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that guy. Anyway, I just some of my notes. But anyway, so if I had my dream team, let's go there. If I had just saying that. You know what, Bears fans, you're too hard on the Bears because everybody sucks this year. Yes, they are because everybody sucks.
Listen, Terry, it's not just this year. It's not just this year that Bear fans are complaining about. That's not what I'm complaining about. I'm complaining about the 35 years since 1985 that we've been fucking mediocre.
Okay,
that's
what do you think? What do you think? Okay, so right now we got Phillips, Pace,
he blows,
and Nagy.
He sucks.
Phillips. Okay,
Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace, Ted Phillips, they're all fucking washed. They should not be here.
All three of them are dead men walking. I stand to God, they will be gone. They'll be gone.
That's the problem. We've been told this before. It's been the same thing up here in Chicago with the Bulls. It took forever for them to move on from Gar Pax. They finally fire Gar Foreman and they move up John Paxson. Thank God, because he made the right decision and he moved up. But now the talks are here with the Chicago Bears. We need to move on from these three fucking idiots. Today, a release was talked about. Ted Phillips talked about distancing himself.
He's a bean counter, and he'll be the first one to admit it. He's an accountant. He doesn't know football.
Right, exactly. But today's the first time that he mentioned that he's talking about distancing himself from the Bears,
football.
or either stepping down.
Here's your top guy, that's saying, you know what? I don't want this football thing. I don't think I know anything about it. Well, now you tell us. They brought him in. The family brought him in to make the money. Now, if you don't think football is about making money, then
of course,
I don't know what you're talking about. Of course it is. Everybody goes, well, all the owners care about is making money. Duh. Do you know how much it costs to open up those doors over at Soldier Field and pay these people? Of course it's about money. I mean, why would you have a football team? It's about money.
Course. But at the same time, what else brings in money, Terry?
A winning
in sports.
Team.
Thank you. Exactly.
And
that's something that we haven't had in a long time. I can count the winning teams that we've had in Chicago here on one hand. I can count the teams that I've actually believed in Chicago with the Chicago Bears within 3 fingers of that one hand. So the Bears, they're a poorly ran organization.
Horrible. So let me ask you this. Because we see it every day. Who should be the coach? Who should be by the way, what's his name? The special teams coach should be it's Tabor, right? Chris Tabor. Tabor should be given the fucking game ball for the Green Bay game. Oh God, unbelievable. They should make him the coach. Get rid of Nagy. Let him go be Bad Santa next. That's because that's who he looks like. And right now he looks like Bad Santa with the big red eyes and I mean, it just looks terrible. He doesn't even. He's like dead man walking. He totally is. So let him go and bring in Tabor or something, because Tabor, his special teams kept us in the game. I mean, Montgomery, I love you. I mean, you have to look when you're a Bears fan for things that bring you joy. And Montgomery's one of them. And why? When you're on the ground, when you got the legs that Fields has, and you're going down the field and you've got 8-9 minutes left and you're going down the field, why go for the long ball? I never understand that. You were doing just fine going 5 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards. What if you've got 8-9 minutes in a quarter? Why the hell do you have to try? If it's not working, why do you keep doing it? Why just keep giving the ball to Montgomery, some play action, do something. How about some trickery, for God's sake? And them kicking, the most atrocious thing. And by the way, Ted Phillips and Ryan Pace, by the way, from this little girl's ears, heard that they almost went berserk when they punted, when it was 4th and inches. They went nuts when Nagy made that call. And that was a coward. That was a complete coward that made that call. And that's Matt Nagy. And that's why he needs to go. Because of that play alone, he should be gone. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Terry, this is the thing that's been beaten like a horse up here for the last 3 days. I mean, it's been beaten dead on how the Bears need to move on.
I mean, I know I'm just a chick with a remote here that I throw all the time. There's 20 of them out on my lawn, but it's like, it doesn't take brains. If you're I can't remember how much they were down. Why are you punting? You're in the NFL and you can't get inches. You can't throw Justin Fields over the top of a bunch of guys and get a few inches and keep the run going. I mean, it was a complete coward move. And going into the Vikings, we're going to get screwed again because we have nobody left on defense. Nobody. There's nobody. We have no chance.
Yeah, I don't think so either. The Vikings aren't that good of a team, but I think the Vikings will see.
And the Vikings got who did they get back? That running back, Clark or
Dalvin Cook.
Delvin. They got him back.
Right.
And Kirk Cousins. We probably don't stand a chance.
Adam
and
Thielen's
I hate saying that.
Adam Thielen's out with COVID, I believe. But really quick, back to the comments. Really quick,
okay.
we have.
Hi guys.
Yeah, I know. We got our guy, Media Outlaws. Does being in the easiest division take away from Tom Brady and his legacy? No, it doesn't. He's still beating the best of the best teams and winning Super Bowls. Doesn't matter. It's still the NFL. We got our guy, Michael Corey. I pronounced it right this time, saying, laughing my ass off. Thanks,
Michael.
Fat Mike, on the adjustment on the last name. Our guy, Ron Rupp, now says he met a shit ton of Bear fans in London. So Bear fans, Go wide, even overseas, guys, even overseas. Our guy Troll Polamalu, says the NFL is looking at 5 cities to relocate the Bears, including China. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Media outlaws say at Troy, picking on Troy, we've got an empty stadium here in St. Louis we can make a great deal on, and that's the truth.
We'll take him.
Michael Corey again saying, just try to get in a word, Fat Mike. You're talking, Terry. You're talking.
Come on.
And then Ron Rupnow says, again, really quick, he says,
wait a minute, does Michael think I'm talking too much?
No, he's just busting chops. That's all. He's just busting chops. Ron Rupnow says, my son is 18, and he has never seen a good Bears team. And we got right here our guy, Vince. I'm going to fuck this up. Shumate, Vince, ordered to go. 1, Nagy, 2, Phillips, 3, Pace. Everybody there, thank you guys so much for chiming in. We really do appreciate it. Guys, we will be back in a quick second. We got a couple more words from a couple of our sponsors. We will be back after this, talking about a little bit, Terry, and some music before we move on to the stuff.
I'm ready.
So here we go, guys. A quick little word from our sponsors. Thank you guys for chiming in. We really do appreciate it. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Honey, will you marry me?
Yes.
Let's get out of here.
Come to Indiana's premier venue. Come to the farm. Come see all the wildlife. Come to White Oak Farm Venue in Michigan City, Indiana.
Come to our 80-acre sanctuary right off I-94 in Michigan City, Indiana.
Come see all we have to offer from 2 brand new Amish-built barns with climate control.
Come see the ponds with beautiful waterfall, meadows and wildflowers, and so much more.
Come see our secluded venue. After you enter our private road, you'll be in your own world away from it all, with outdoor ceremony spaces, wood-fired pizza ovens, and lots of fresh air.
Come enjoy Northwest Indiana's premier wedding venue, where you gather with your family and friends. Stretch your legs and enjoy the most memorable day of your life.
Visit White Oak Farm Venue at whiteoakfarmvenue.com or on Facebook/Instagram.
Real estate is hot right now, and you need an attorney to handle all of this. My guy, Mark Berardi, does this all day long. He's a straight shooter. There's no fancy language. He's just to the point. And he and his team get the deal done. There's no BS. He also does estate planning, trusts, wills, and power of attorney. He has great reviews up and down the board from a ton of happy clients. For him and his big team, they're all just down to earth and normal people as much as he is. You will not be disappointed you went with him. He's located in Homer Glen and New Lenox and handles real estate all over Illinois. There's no place too far, so give him a call today at 708-942-8030. Again, that's 708-942-8030, or look him up online at Mark Berardi and Associates. So, guys, I really think this is funny. Thank you again for our sponsors, White Oak Farm Venue out in Michigan City, Indiana, and also Mark Berardi Law and Associates, Berardi and Associates out there out in Homer Glen. If you guys just got married at White Oak Farm and find out you guys don't like each other, you guys can get a divorce through the Berardi Law. I'm trying to make these guys similar in some way. But yeah, if you find out that you hate your wife, or you hate your husband after just getting married, you can get divorced and contact Mark. It's perfect.
Hey, congratulations, Mike.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much. Our sponsors are great here over at 1252, all the way up and down the board between Susie Sheehan, Nick and Ivy Brewing Company, John Darren, White Oak Farm, Berardi Law, the Cupcake Bakery. All these guys are fantastic. Thank you guys so much. Unbelievable. So, Terry, really quick before we keep on going, I got to talk Bears the rest of the night. I want to get off Bears before I make myself sick.
Okay, let's talk about something else.
I want to talk about you and how music down there in St. Louis, how music became a part of your life down there. So please give us a little bit of insight on what Terry Seigel is down there in the St. Louis area before we cut you loose.
You got it.
Time out. I want to ask one question before you get going. Best band of all time, go.
Best band of all time? Oh, shit.
5, 4.
Zeppelin.
Ooh, over the Beatles?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. You're a rocker through and through. I appreciate it. They're my 1B.
Zeppelin. But
Zeppelin's
you know
my
what?
1B.
But the Beatles, you know, because they're so different, it's hard to compare them. So I would say Beatles, Zeppelin. I mean, you can't compare them, you know.
Right.
But they were
Two
both
totally different
innovative.
genres.
Yes,
Not
yes,
even months apart.
yes. And I'm also a diehard Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings fan. So
There you go.
know, I'm
There you
also
go.
into that. But
All
you
right, so
know,
Terry, back to the question. What's the music scene down there, Terry? You're down there in St. Louis. You've been doing a lot of stuff with rock and roll. Give us a little insight of what you do down there.
well, it's actually I've been in music, gosh, for 30 years. I started out in radio, and I was on the air in Calgary and Edmonton, Toronto. By the way, Hakeem Hicks, University of Saskatchewan, love you, babe. Uh, New York, Indianapolis. I was on the air in St. Louis. So that's how I started. I played the guitar when I was 9 years old. When all little girls, and like once again, you're talking to a woman that's 66 years old. So when I was 9, little girls were playing the violin, tap dance. My mother gave me guitar lessons. I mean, who the hell in the early 60s, pre-Beatles, was playing guitar? So I started playing guitar when I was 9. And so I've always been involved in music and radio. I did radio, and then I was on the air at Q95 in Indianapolis, and I just met some musicians, and we started jamming together, and we put together a band. And my band, I ended up getting discovered. This is when A&R guys, you know, guys from record labels would actually go out and look for bands. They don't do that anymore. They look how many hits you have on TikTok. But back in my day, you know, A&R record labels would get out there and go look for bands. And I was discovered, you know, opening. I went out to LA. I actually have a video out there on MTV. And it was, so it had the band. And then when I realized that that was not going to, that career was ending. I used to do the commercials for the largest concert promoter and one of the largest concert promoters. And, you know, my very first show that I produced was Bon Jovi and Cinderella. And they throw me to the wolves with that one. But so I have promoted and produced shows all over the world. Paris, Rome, Bangkok, Canada, you name it. And then I still play now and then. I don't play as much as I used to, but most people know me as a rock and roller. I have since really my company, which opened in 1995, I'm a talent buyer. I buy for like major casinos or concert venues. I buy their talent for them. So I have to know all about every genre across the board. It could be jazz, blues, rock, you know, and it's just been really hard. The music industry took a humongous hit, as you know, during COVID. I almost died from COVID. You know, I don't know. It was terrible, but it's still affecting it, and it's affecting music. But thank God, music's back. But the festivals seem to be doing well. You've got some amazing festivals in Chicago, the Windy City and Lollapalooza. You got so much stuff going on in Chicago, and clubs are just, you know, a lot of the clubs are finding out that they can pack a place with a tribute band. Tribute bands are really big right now,
Right.
you know, and it's also really hard to find new rock music. You know, you can't, because radio stations, you know, I was born, thank God, in the best time to be in music. I mean, the best time to be in radio, the best time of music. When bands actually could get signed. Now you got to be on Instagram or TikTok and have X amount of people following you. And it's really hard to get a song. Radio stations are struggling, you know, so bad that they don't have time to play new music. That's why you hear a Journey 100 times, or you hear Aerosmith 100 times. They don't have time to play something new. I mean, there's, but you know, on the other side of it, if you really look, There's some amazing rock happening out there, and country and red dirt country. If you're into that, red dirt country is coming out of Texas and Oklahoma. You just got to look for it. I mean, Greta Van Fleet. Are you familiar with them?
We had our guy J.R. Strauss. He's up here. I don't know if you know J.R., but J.R. is up here. He's worked at 97.9, 95. He works at 99.5 The Rock now. He worked at a bunch of different classic rock and roll stations up here in the Chicagoland area, and he also does the sound and does all the programming for ESPN Chicago 1000 up here. And we had him on last week. He was saying the same exact thing. There's a lot of kick-ass, fucking awesome rock bands out there right now, but nobody gets to hear him or see him because everybody's so inclined to play the old shit all the time. It's not old shit. I miss the Motown station. I miss Dick Biondi. And playing I miss him playing the old school Motown and the 60s and 70s hits that Motown. I miss the R&B.
I'm surprised. You should be
I
able
like
to
that
buy.
stuff. I'm all over the place, though. I'm all over the place in my music background. I can listen to Temptations, and right after that, I can put on,
Okay, your favorite band.
Cells by Megadeth. You know what I mean? I'm all over the place. I'm all over the spectrum.
Favorite band? Beatles? Was that your favorite band?
Hands down is the Beatles, yes.
I mean,
and I wanted to ask you a question. Your son Harrison, is it named after George Harrison?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I said it. Is he named after George Harrison?
And let me tell you, as long as we're talking about Harrison, I'll tell you interesting stories. Here we go.
Does Harrison play music?
Well, no, but he was a producer. He did follow in my footsteps as a producer. A very interesting thing about Harrison. Harrison got he was All Suburban Conference senior here in St. Louis, center at high school.
There you go. O-line.
Yeah.
The big boys eat.
My son. And he got recruited to a D2 school, and he wasn't playing. And I said, look, there was a coach out of Chicago that had called me that really loved Harrison, loved him. And I said, look, your growth spurt's over with. You're never going to go to the league. It's not happening.
Right.
So do you just want to play? Then just go go to a D3 school and just play. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't matter because, only 1% of these D1 players, and this, even maybe half of 1% get to the league. So go play. So he took a trip to Lake Forest. Right there, the most gorgeous city I've ever been in, and basically, I love Lake Forest. The college is amazing, and he played 4 years for football at Lake Forest. And but you know what? We didn't know, which is so weird, is that when he went there, he goes, "Mom, the coach." I had no idea the connection between Lake Forest and that and it was Hallis Hall and the Bears, and that's where
the Braves. Jesus, oh my God!
I mean, who would have thought, Mike, of all the places that my son ends up playing football? It's where he said, "Mom, the coach took me down to the training room. He goes, 'Come here, Harrison. I want to show you something.'" And it was a little door. And Harrison's a big guy, so he had to get into it. And he opens up and it's this huge handball court. And he goes, Mike Ditka had this built during the 85 Bears to blow off steam. And it's still there. And then if you walk down further, down to the lake, you can see the steps that Walter Payton ran every day.
Right.
So my point in telling you the story is, if you live in Chicago or if you ever visit Chicago, you have got to go over to Lake Forest.
Oh, Terry, it's beautiful up there. That's where the Bears do their mini camp and their training camp. I went there a couple times this year during all that stuff, watching Justin Fields, watching Andy Dalton.
Did you really?
I did. I'm a Bear fan. We go to that stuff.
I love this. I love this.
I mean, we went up there a couple of times. I took a couple of the guys here from 1252. Took one of the sponsors here over at 1252 up there, and we had a blast. It was a great time. It was a great time up there watching.
I mean, if you haven't gone and you don't
gotta
know
go, because the cool thing is up at Lake Forest too, Terry, is that they make it so fan friendly. I mean, for everybody, for the kids, for the adults, they have beer tents, but then they also have Stanley the Bear walking around in a costume.
It
get
was
pictures
just
with the
a
kids.
beautiful
Kid,
college. It's a beautiful
snow
little
cones
city.
and hot dogs and hamburgers, the whole fucking nine. They got
If
it
you
all up there at Hallis
exactly,
Hall. It's
if
awesome.
you haven't been
Excuse me.
there, you take just to stand and walk. Look, did you see those steps that Walter used to
Oh
run?
yeah,
I
they're
mean,
there.
I mean, if you live in Chicago and haven't taken a Saturday afternoon, and there's an unbelievable ice cream store right there in Lake Forest. I can't think of the name of it, but it's out of this world. It's the best ice cream I've ever eaten in my life. But so that was my little sidebar about Lake Forest, and it was just so weird that I didn't out of all the places that could call me, this coach from Lake Forest, that I had no idea there was any connection with the Bears. None. That's where my son ended up playing for 4 years, and I drove there every weekend. I watched him play.
It's awesome up there.
I drove up there. It really is. So anyway, thanks.
Terry, really quick before we cut you short, I know that we're gonna have to do a Terry Seigel part 2. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to do a Terry Seigel part 2.
I hope so.
How can everybody here that's listening to you and everybody here on my page and stuff like that? How can we find you via social media? How can we interact with you? Give us a little later.
Well, I do have a podcast.
Okay.
We kind of stopped it for a while. We just started it up during COVID, but there's like I did well, actually, I'm still grieving the loss of Eddie Van Halen. And if you can see this, I don't know if you can see this. I'll try to hold this up. This was my treasure. I told my son, if the house is burning down, go get this. This is my autograph of Eddie Van Halen.
There you go.
And David Lee Roth and I became extremely close in the early 80s. But great guys. And I did a podcast on Van Halen, and I found an interview between me and Van Halen from 1980, and 50,000 people ended up watching it from all over the world. But awesome. Most of them, it's like a podcast. It's called Cruz and Seigel, Kruzen capital N Seigel, Seigel, and there's about. You can watch some podcasts. I talk about dating and online dating and breakups and all the stuff that chicks hate. And, we talk a lot of chick stuff, but we talk some sports and we talk about some rock music. And I think you'll really enjoy it. We're going to hopefully I'd like to continue it, at some point, but we had to kind of, when the concerts started coming back, I had to kind of rebuild my business. And then, you can always find me, feel free to friend me, Terry Seigel on Facebook. I friend everybody,
That's Terrye, guys. Don't mess it up. It's not Terrie or Terry. Terrye Seigel.
Yeah.
Terry, thank you so much.
Thank
this
you
has
so
been
much
awesome.
for having me.
We're gonna have to have a Terry Seigel part 2 to talk a little bit more about music, because I definitely do want to dive in to my trip to Cleveland this past fall.
I'd love to hear about that.
And I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I was completely and utterly disappointed. So we will talk about that as well. Terry Seigel part 2. We'll have you on here soon, Terry. Thanks, thank you so much for joining us, Matt.
Bye,
thank
everybody.
I thank you so much for setting everything up. I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. We will talk soon. Take care. Guys, everybody, Terry Seigel, you guys can find her on Facebook, Terrye Seigel. Go follow her. Go hang out with her. She's awesome. She knows music like the back of her hand. And some of the shit that she posts on Bears Talk is the truth. I mean, she's exactly like us. She is a Bear fan at heart, like to the fullest. She's a Bear fan. And a lot of the shit she says is the same exact shit that we're saying. And she's saying it first, guys. I'm not even joking yet. She is a diehard Bear fan. So, guys, really quick, we got some shit to get into. This show's running a little bit long. I usually only run an hour. I'm at an hour and a half already. Got some stuff for you guys, though. Before we go, I don't know if I should do this now or if I should do it next week, because there's a lot of stuff I want to get into. But let's go with the big news right now. We can get into the other news a little bit later. All right, how you can rate Justin Fields and this, that, and the other stuff. We will talk about that next week after he plays the Minnesota Vikings again in prime time. All right, now I know my guy Fred Hubner here does a thing, What's Up Fred's Can, and I'm not trying to rip you off, Fred. I'm not trying to rip you off. I apologize if I am. But for the love of God, For the love of the football gods, please stop putting the Chicago Bears in prime time. Please. This team is terrible. Quit putting them in prime time. There are a million other games I'd much rather watch on my Monday night, on my Sunday night, than the Bears to get their ass kicked as a Bear fan. Please put on any game with any other relevance besides what's there currently with the Bears. Stop doing that. That's up my Fred's can. That's what's up. That's what's up Fred's can for me. Quit putting the fucking Bears in prime time. It's terrible. The other thing I want to say, guys, we have great news today, and this is no joke. And I'm reading this from this is from our girl Alyssa Barberi over at Bears Wire. She is fucking awesome. She is, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Barberi. She is awesome. I know she does a podcast with John Buffone over at Barroom. But she's awesome. And her report today, I mean, it's big news. She wrote a nice article about it. You guys go to bearswire.usatoday.com, and it's right there. Bears president Ted Phillips has discussed distancing himself from football operations. Oh my God, we can only hope. We can only hope. This guy shouldn't be doing anything with the fucking team. Plain and simple. Now I'm going to read you this article, guys, word for word, verbatim, from Alyssa Barberi. And it says, the dysfunction surrounding the Chicago Bears hasn't been limited to just this season. Although the Bears' failure of a 2021 season has brought heat on this organization, which I agree with, when looking at the failure of this team at present, the blame runs deeper than just head coach Matt Nagy. Again, I agree with. And general manager Ryan Pace. Again, I agree with. If you guys can't tell, the I agree with is me. Nagy is gone after the season, hopefully, and that's mine, and possibly Pace as well. It starts with the men that are responsible for Pace and Nagy, the men who doubled down last offseason when they opted to push their faith in both to get Bears to where they needed to get Chairman George McCaskey, President CEO Ted Phillips. Dan Wiederer of the Chicago Tribune revealed an interesting nugget about Phillips, which indicates he's discussed distancing himself from football operations in order to get a football guy in place to fix things. End quote. According to multiple sources connected to the team, Phillips has privately discussed distancing himself from football operations in recent months, making a frank acknowledgement to some confidants that the organization would benefit from a leader with greater football aptitude to oversee those in charge of an on-field product. No shit, Sherlock. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? No shit. That's no joke. We would benefit from having a football guy in place instead of a guy who crunches fucking numbers. That's no secret, guys. That's no secret. The call for Phillips' job, at least in the broader sense of being responsible for football decisions, is nothing new, especially considering the team's struggle since he was named the team president in 1999. Guys, that just foreshadows everything that I've been saying. This guy's been in charge for football decisions and a football executive and named team president for over 20 years. It's time to get rid of this fucking turd sandwich. There has been a lot of speculation about the possibility of a front office restructure, which would not only include parting ways with Nagy and Pace, but also bringing in a football executive who knows how to run things. While we're about 4 weeks from really seeing how this all plays out, it's clear that plenty of change is coming to the Bears this offseason, and a new role for Phillips is just the tip of the iceberg. Again, thank you, Alyssa Barberi. That's her column over there. You guys can read it and find all of her stuff over at bearswire.usa today. Follow her on Twitter. Follow her on Facebook. But, guys, that's the stuff that we're talking about right now. All right? Ted Phillips needs to step down. If you're going to do this the right way, you have to get a football guy in place. It cannot be Ted Phillips no more. It can't be Ryan Pace drafting and trading away fucking capital in the draft every single fucking year. You have to figure out what you're doing in this Bears organization. Because as it sits right now, as I sit here and look at the Chicago Bears organization, as it sits currently right now on December 15th, 2021 at 8:26 p.m. Central Standard Time, this Chicago Bears team is a minimum of 3 years away from being relevant in today's NFL, no matter which way you slice it. I've said it over the past couple of weeks. On offense, on defense, there's plenty of holes to fill, and you cannot fill those holes in one offseason, especially with the lack of draft capital that you have. It hurts to be a Bear fan right now, and I only pray that they get this right this offseason. I hope there's a complete sweep, a complete clean sweep of what is ahead for the Chicago Bears this offseason. And what I mean by that is I want to see Ted Phillips gone. I want to see Ryan Pace not moved up, but fucking gone. I don't want to see the John Paxson trauma. I don't want to see the John Paxson treatment of moving him up in the organization. Get rid of this fucking turd. And I don't want to see Matt Nagy anywhere near the Chicago Bears organization. What the Bears got to do is they got to sit down and they have to hire a guy. In my opinion, they have to hire a guy to hire two guys. They have to bring in a football guy. They have to contact teams around the league, or just even fucking just do your homework and hire a guy who knows football, that has a good football acumen to do what we need to do up here in Chicago. Bring in a guy who can be like, okay, listen, this is what we need here. And there's plenty of proven guys all around the league. Plenty. Bring in one of those guys. Make him the director of football operations. That's what the Cubs did. They brought in Theo Epstein. Do what needs to be done, because it's the only way you can change the face of this franchise for the better right now. Bring in a guy to hire your GM, and then your director of football operations and your GM. Then what's the word that the Bears were throwing all around offseason? Come on, guys, help me out here in the chat. It's gonna fuck me up. I forget it because it was ridiculous. All right, they were throwing around a word, collaborate. There we go, collaborate. Thank you. All right, those two guys, your director of football operations and your new GM that your football of operations just hired, have to collaborate, as I'm doing finger quotes, on bringing in your next head coach. That's what you got to do. That's how you fix the Bears this year. That's how, not this year. That's how you fix the Bears going forward. I'm hurt. I'm hurt, guys. It breaks my heart. It really does. Because next Wednesday, I'm sure it's going to be me sitting here doing the same exact shit, talking shit about the Chicago Bears, the team that I love oh so much, that breaks my heart each and every single week. I love the Bears. I love the Bears. But each and every week I say this to myself, I love to hate them and I hate to love them, because each and every single week they break my fucking heart. On that note, guys, I'm out of here. We will bring up the rest of this stuff next week. We got a big show next week. We got no guests next week. We're just going to be hanging out ourselves. We're going to be talking about, can you rate Justin Fields so far through this season? We're going to be talking, it's getting to that playoff time. It's getting nitty gritty. It's only going to get hotter next week as the hottest teams in the AFC and the NFC boil down for the final playoff spots. And what teams can be the sneaky teams to kick some ass and knock a big team out. All right. Make sure you guys tune in the rest of the week. We got a bunch of great shows coming up this week. We got Bear Fans with a Brain tomorrow night with Alan Bratcher here at 12:52. Make sure you guys watch that. That's great. And on Friday night, we have the world's best fantasy show with Jeff Schwartz, Andrew Tarbill, and Tyler DeMouse. Great show. It's playoff week, guys. Make sure you guys are hounding in on that show, because that's how you're going to win your fantasy league. Immediately following the world's best fantasy show, I've been giving this guy props all night. Harry the Greek, Harry Berg. He's been on a heater that's unbelievable. He had 2 weeks of bad luck this year. Ever since then, the guy's been on fucking fire. Week 1 through 7, fire. 8 and 9, he sucked. 9 through now, on fire. He's been fucking awesome since. All right, give this guy's winning money. He's putting money in my pockets, guys. I love money. I keep a jar of it here at the house. It's on the fridge. I like to put more in that jar, and that's why I watch Harry's show, and you should too. And then Sunday, we're back with our guy, the youth of 1252, bringing football youth to everybody. Because I tell you what, this kid knows his shit. Jacob Charnow, Sunday morning. Make sure you watch his show. He goes over every single game in the NFL, talks about all of them. He knows his stuff. Make sure you guys are watching that. Special thank you again tonight to our amazing sponsors, Susie Sheehan, State Farm. We have Nick and Ivy Brewing Company, John Darren at the Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group, White Oak Farm Venue out in Michigan City, Mark Berardi Law and Associates out in Homer Glen. We also have our girl Jess over at the Cupcakery Bakery, makes the best fucking treats around town. Make sure you guys go there because they're amazing. All right, we're going to have some new sponsors coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned for those guys. I got some good stuff for you guys, really good stuff. But on that note, guys, I'm out of here. And I want to give a special thank you to you guys as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for tuning in again tonight. You guys are great. Without this show, without you guys, we don't do this show. Without the sponsors, we don't do the show. And if you guys don't keep on coming, I don't get sponsors. So therefore, I don't have a show. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. You guys are absolutely amazing. You guys are great. I don't know how much more ass I got to kiss, but I'm out of here. And I would like to thank Terry Seigel one more time for coming on with us talking Bears football. She's a diehard Bear fan. She's a hardcore rocker. I think she's wrong about Zeppelin over the Beatles, but that's just my personal opinion. On that note, guys, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I got stuff to do tomorrow. I can't be on here all night with you guys. I got to go. I got stuff to do. So on that note, guys, you guys take care, and I will talk to you guys next Wednesday live at 7 p.m. Stay tuned for the rest of the week for all our shows. And bear down, maybe, think.